In this video, I'm back from Gen Con 2025, the biggest tabletop gaming convention in the country, and I'm going to show you my gaming booty. As of this recording, I've been back from Gen Con 2025 in Indianapolis, Indiana, for about 3 days or so now, and my feet are finally not really all that sore anymore. That's the downside of getting older, I suppose. If you don't know, Gen Con is the largest tabletop gaming convention in North America with a massive 72,000 attendees. It covers board games, role-playing games, collectible card games, and miniatures wargaming. There's a massive vendor hall, of course, but there's also seminars and classes and parties, and obviously lots and lots and lots of gaming and everything else. It's great, and it's something I've been doing since like 1992. The big difference between this convention and other conventions like Adepticon in Milwaukee, for example, is that Adepticon is smaller. It's about 10 or 11,000 attendees total, not 72,000. But it's nearly 100% miniatures wargaming at Adepticon. At Gen Con, miniatures wargaming is like the least represented of the four genres of tabletop. You got board games, RPGs, and collectible card games being the other genres, besides us here in miniatures wargaming. However, because the event, Gen Con, is so massive, there's still plenty of miniatures stuff to buy if you're into that kind of thing. If you like miniatures wargaming and one of the other genres, like let's say you're also into role-playing games or board games or whatever, then Gen Con is ideal. But if you only like miniatures, I'd probably tell you to try Adepticon, in my opinion. But as I said, there's a massive vendor hall at Gen Con, and I was in it a lot. I spent a lot of time there. There's so much to see and, of course, buy. For the most part, it was only the bigger wargaming companies that were in the vendor hall, as convention space at Gen Con is very expensive, right? So I didn't really buy as much as I do at Adepticon, where you get smaller indie folks who are able to show up and vend as well, because it's more affordable. But I did certainly still buy stuff, and I came home with plenty of gaming booty, and now I'm going to show it to you. All right, so first we're going to start with a relatively well-known company within tabletop wargaming. We're not talking about Warhammer. I mean, they were there, certainly, and so was Mantic, and a lot of other companies as well, bigger ones, But there was also our friends over at Corvus Belli, and this is Infinity, which is their well-known game. That's their sci-fi game. They also have a game called Warcrow. And this Infinity box, the thing that's cool about it is it's called the Essentials Starter Box, right? I have been trying to get this thing for a while now. It has been out of stock most places that I would go online to check. And I hadn't seen it in any local stores or anything like that, so I wanted to reach out and see if they were going to have it at Gen Con, and luckily I went to the booth, and they did. This is a two-player starter with JSA and Pan-Oceania, and it comes with, basically there's 3 models per side, and it also comes with a whole bunch of cardboard terrain. It comes with a mat, it comes with cards, it comes with tokens, it comes with dice, it comes with rulers. Everything you need to play to get started in 5th edition, Infinity is in this box. This box costs $40. $40 for 6 models right away is just like, well, that's a relatively good deal. But plus all this other stuff that you need to get started, including terrain and the mat and the dice and all that jazz, $40. So if you can get a hold of it and you're interested in trying out, Infinity, which is what I'm interested in, trying out Infinity, and a $40 starter is a great way to, start, I assume. And because I'm a little bit more interested in, I guess, the Pan-Oceania, if I'm saying that properly, I also then got this military orders action pack for Pano. Now this was like $70, but it's also a whole bunch of models. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one looks kind of big, but all these models are in there, and then I'm assuming also cards for them and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be doing a video soon about, inexpensive 2-player starters. I'm going to definitely talk about this one when I do it, because I think $40 for the stuff that's in this box, that's a pretty good deal. I don't want to call it a loss leader. I don't know that they take a loss on this necessarily. Like, actually, there is probably still a little bit of profit in there, but not as much as game companies normally need to kind of work under. So if you're interested in, if you can find it, and it should be coming back into stock soon, this might be something you might want to take a look at. But their booth was great. They had lots of stuff going on. And they had a lot of Warcrow stuff, which is their kind of newer fantasy game, which I'll probably talk about at some point in the future. The models look really good, and I've kind of not had a chance to take a look at much more beyond that in Warcrow. There's a company called Archon Studios that I've bought stuff from before. I love a bunch of the terrain that they make, and I've seen a bunch of other stuff that they do. I saw this at Gen Con. I don't think they had a booth. I think I bought this actually at the Elric Hobbies booth. They had a lot of the Archon Studios stuff there, including some of the awesome terrain. This tank is just cool. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I have a use for it in a game specifically. I could definitely see myself using this as a piece of terrain, like either just sitting there. I might try to build it and then have it all blown up and burned out and everything like that, and turn it into a piece of terrain. The reason I can take a tank like this and turn it into a piece of terrain is because it's only like $34. And you can even open the door. So I can have them open the door and have people hang out inside there as a piece of terrain. There's all kinds of different stuff. It's durable construction. Their plastics are always real nice and thick. And kind of chunky. I have a kind of like a World War II kind of four-legged walker as well that I've purchased from these guys before back, I think at Adepticon several years back. And this tank I've seen before, but I've never been able to pick one up. And there it was, because it was Gen Con. And yeah, it's a decent size. And like I said, I think it's going to be something I'm going to turn into terrain. I stopped by the Monster Fight Club booth, and they had a lot of stuff going on, as per usual, a nice big booth. They were showing off a bunch of their, I think it's called Metropolis 2.0 stuff, which is, I think, either in Kickstarter now or some sort of crowdfunding. I think it's currently in either Kickstarter or GameFound or one of those. If I can remember, I'll try to put it on the screen or put it down in the description or something like that if you're interested. The stuff is really cool. It's this modular, stacked, kind of like sci-fi hab kind of thing going on. It reminds me a little bit of from the movie Ready Player One. He lived in a bunch of RVs stacked on top of each other, or maybe they were shipping containers or whatever. But it's a cool looking thing. It's very modular and cool, but you can't buy it yet because again, it's on Kickstarter and stuff like that. But I was able to buy some scenery because I'm working on my own cyberpunk board, and just having some very quick and simple kind of scenery scatter stuff that I can put around on the table. Oh, that's too much glare. It's pretty cool. So there's a bunch of different lamppost things and some mailboxes and some benches and these little bollards, I believe they're called. These are kind of cool. I kind of wish I had more of these. Maybe if I can find something I can 3D print or I can design something, that'd be kind of cool too. Have different types of bollards around town. Anyway, yeah, see bollards right there. Anyway, this is pretty cool. I picked this up, and then also for their game, which is called Cyberpunk Combat Zone, or is it Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone? Cyberpunk Red is the RPG. I think Cyberpunk just Combat Zone maybe is the full name. It's not printed here on the box. But either way, this is a bunch of Arasaka models that I might use for actual Combat Zone. On the other hand, I also might just use them for other cool stuff because they're just super cool. I don't know, there's just something really cool about these guys. Very tactical and interesting, and kind of a little bit of power armory and big gun and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I bought this and this while I was over in the Monster Fight Club booth. There's a game by a company called Loot Studios, and the game that they're making is called Malediction. I've had a lot of people ask me about it, and on Sunday I got a chance to do a demo. I didn't get much footage of me doing the demo because I was doing the demo, but I did get a lot of footage of their awesome models and stuff like that. The game is a bit card-based, which is not always for me, but I'm giving it at least a bit of a pass at this point, and I want to kind of look at it a little bit more. Again, like I said, the models, on the other hand, however, are spectacular. So I got this box here, which is called the Legion of the Fallen. There's basically 4 factions in in Malediction, and these guys are kind of the undead. So what you do when you get this little box like this is you get two things. You, number one, get, you basically get 2 decks of cards, okay? And you get this deck here, which I think is it's the cards for the actual figures. This is an STL basis game. You get this little tiny box, and then you print all your models and all your stuff and your terrain and everything else yourself, right? That's what I'm covering here, my special number, which does that. And then this deck is like the starter deck that gives you the cards for the figures that you'll be using and also actions and things that they can do and stuff like that. And then the last thing you get, I think, is a 20-sider. Yeah, there's a 20-sider rolling around in here, too. So you get all this stuff in this box, which is pretty cool, and it's magnetic. That's kind of neat. But that's really all you need to get started. There's fancier sets you can buy that have, like, the gaming mat. It plays, like, on a 2.5 by 2.5, which is kind of an odd size, in my opinion. And it has a lot of different things going on, but it's an interesting game. I played the demo, kind of got the hang of it. It's interesting to me, and I definitely want to paint more of the models in here and kind of go from there and see where that takes me. But it was nice that I finally got a chance to play a demo of it, finally, because it's been around for a bit now, at least more than a year. And finally got the time on Sunday to be able to play a demo, so that was cool. I'm not usually a dice goblin. I mean, being a gamer, yeah, I have more dice than the average person for sure, but I'm not usually one of those people that gets like really super into dice and makes, I gotta have this and I gotta have, I have all these different types of dice. I've paid probably more than average for certain pairs of dice, which are really cool, but I don't do it too frequently. I don't buy them out of like fancy, like semi-precious gems or any kind of jazz like that. But I do like dice. I also like dice bags too. And you can see here, this is a Crown Royal bag, that you would usually, people put their dice in and stuff like that. Oh, except it's not. It's a Roll-A-Crit bag. So it is made to look like one of those Crown Royal bags from back in the day, or even still today, that you can put your dice in, but it's made by a company called Roll-A-Crit, which is pretty cool. Now you might say, okay, well, cool, but I can just buy a bottle of booze and then you drink it or not and get a free dice bag. And that's true, but the difference between the Roll-A-Crit bag is that it is also a mimic that tries to bite you or something like that. It's got a lot of eyes, a lot of things going on, which is kind of cool. So I guess you could do it either way. But yeah, I picked this up because I just thought it was kind of clever. And I've never been a big fan of Crown Royal, so I didn't really ever have a Crown Royal bag. Somewhere I do have a Crown Royal bag that I bought at a convention where they were just selling the bags without the booze, which is probably for me the best because I'm not super into Crown Royal. But nonetheless, this is kind of cool. And though I say I'm not a dice goblin, I did buy some dice this year. There's a company called Roll for Initiative. There you go. And they make these diffusion dice is what they're called. And I picked up 3 sets because they had a buy 2, get 1 free. And so that's kind of cool. The main thing that they have going for them, which I think is kind of cool, if I can get it open here, is that number one, the dice are just a little bit bigger than usual. I don't have anything to compare it to here, so you're going to have to take my word for it. Secondly, the numbers are definitely bigger. They take up more of the faces than usual, which is nice, because none of us, as it turns out, is getting any younger. The other interesting thing, if I can find it here, is they do D4s very differently. Normally D4s are like those pointy little pyramids. They're like a caltrap that you can throw behind you if people are on the, chasing you. This D4 is got this kind of curvy thing going on where it's just 2 kind of like U-shaped curves. Like here's a U-shaped curve, and then we turn it this way, and there's another U-shaped curve. So when you throw it, you still get only 4 possibilities, right? Boom, got a 2. But it's a different kind of die. Come on, focus. Okay, well, there you go. So anyway, I don't play a lot of RPGs, but I do play, Space Weirdos, which uses all of these dice except for the D20s. The D20s aren't used in Space Weirdos, but they are used in Infinity. So there you go. And anyway, like I said, it was a buy 2, get 1 free sale. I bought a bunch of darker ones because I also like high, like this is the one that's probably the least readable, and it's still pretty readable. This is basically white on like a cool cloudy color. This is white on or kind of slightly gray, and then this one's also still pretty readable. So I like readable dice. I don't like dice that I look at and I can't tell right away what it is. So diffusion dice from Roll from Initiative was pretty cool, and this bag from Roll-A-Crit was also pretty cool. I'm not generally a role-playing guy, right? Like I kind of started there. I started with D&D back in 5th grade and all that kind of stuff. But these days I don't really play role-playing games too much. I have a tendency to stick to miniature war games. Now that being said, I do have a tendency to buy some role-playing games, specifically when I'm at conventions, it seems like, and I'm in a little bit more of a buying mood. This year I bought 2 role-playing games. I picked up Death to the Wizard Kings by Marie Enger. I bought a role-playing game from Marie Enger a couple of years ago. I believe it was also at Gen Con, and it was called Casket Land. And I just really liked the artwork and the style. This one's really cool too. Again, love the artwork and everything. And the reason I picked it up really is because it's a role-playing game, but it's written predominantly kind of like a comic book. Like it explains the lore in comic book form, and then it also explains a lot of the actual rules and charts and things like that in that same form. So I'm really interested to see like kind of how it works in that situation. I don't know if I'll be ever able to ever play it or anything like that's fine. But for the most part, being able to see all the cool illustrations that I really enjoy and all the different things like that, I think it's a really cool concept. I even picked up a t-shirt as well while I was there from that same booth. I bought 2 t-shirts this year. The other one was from Archon Games, which makes a game called Eshchetan, which is actually a board game that I picked up. I'm not usually a board gamer, but I just loved the artwork. If you make good artwork, I'm more likely to buy the thing, even though I'm not necessarily going to play it, just because I want to enjoy the artwork. Case in point, this is called Afterburn, and it is the first source book for Orbital Blues, which is an RPG that I picked up, again, at Gen Con a couple of years ago. The reason I wanted this, even though I haven't ever played the first one, I enjoyed reading it, and again, the artwork is pretty spectacular. Nearly every spread amongst the 2 pages is generally different. Sometimes they stick the same for a while in a section, but just, instead of where most books have a tendency to be like, this is the way we do our pages and then we'll throw artwork in there. In these books specifically, like every page, every spread is like a new kind of artistic thing. And it's just really interesting sci-fi. And so I picked this up as well. A couple more things. This is called King in Yellow, and it is from Dimension Games. Right there. Fiddle for focus. Come on, there we go. Dimension Games. And what it is it's not a game, it's just a model. It's just a really cool model. King in Yellow is based off of some H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff and things like that. And it's just a really interesting, gorgeous model. This thing, can open it up, comes in this plastic baggie on a sprue, as things do. I got tape stuck to my finger. But the thing that I thought was so interesting about it, besides the fact that it's just a really cool sculpt and it's interesting, I don't know that it's a gaming piece. I mean, it could be like a bad guy that should, but I thought the thing, if I can get this to, the detail is really, 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 really good. Like you can see the detail there on the, I don't know, tentacles, I guess. So, it's a model you glue together and then paint, and I'm really interested to do some sort of grim dark shenanigans on this, but I thought the detail level for a company that I've never heard of, I thought it was pretty good. And so I was very interested in checking this out. I'm going to look forward to building it and then painting it. I was walking around, at the convention and bumped into somebody from Chaosium who knew me from, online and all that kind of stuff. And said, hey, I know that you're not really a role player or anything like that, but we've got these new miniatures that we're working on and stuff. I'd love it if you'd come by the booth later. I don't have them on me, blah, blah, blah. And so I came by the booth, I think, on Sunday and stopped by, and they gave me a bunch of these little baggies of these new miniatures that they're working on. And, they're 3D prints. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Come on. There we go. They're 3D prints. Currently, and I don't know if they're going to be manufactured and output that way. I just thought the sculpts were really kind of interesting because they don't fit, a lot of them, the standard kind of fantasy kind of stuff that I see. I don't know, they were just really kind of interesting models. They're from, let's see here if I can see here, coming to crowdfunding in October, That I don't know. That's all we got. So scan that thing, I guess, if you want to. I'm not sure what this reads to say, and I'm not exactly sure what this stuff is for. There's a cave troll. What else we got over here? Heroes. A bunch of different stuff. So I thought that they were interesting models. I could see myself using some of them for, you know, some kind of interesting projects down the road. And I don't know, this guy's got like a little skull on the top of his shovel thing or a hammer or whatever, and he's got tusks and a wood. It's just, I like seeing interesting sculpts, and I thought these are cool, even though some of them are really tiny. Like this must be like a little kobold or something, I don't know, with a sling. Just kind of, it's got a lot of action to it. I like that kind of thing when they look like they're doing something. I kind of appreciate that. So that's it. That's my Gen Con booty for 2025. As I mentioned, I had a really great time, as I almost always do at Gen Con. And the weather this year was possibly the best Gen Con weather that I can remember there in Indianapolis, which really also helped a lot because there's a lot of walking around, getting places and all that kind of stuff. If you're into tabletop gaming in general, then this is certainly a convention to try to get to someday. And again, like if you're just only into miniatures and wargaming, then maybe you should try Adepticon or Nova Open in Washington, D.C., or the Las Vegas Open, which is in Las Vegas. You know, one of those conventions instead. Were you at Gen Con? Let us all know if you were, and maybe we saw each other, or maybe we didn't, or you saw something cool there, or whatever. Let us all know down in the comments below. And engage in some post-Gen Con depressmentation of the like button as well. It really does help the channel, and I appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this every single Friday. It's free. Thanks for watching.